I really enjoy seeing the continuation actually of some of the topics that are sort of advancements in the field of asset management and operating. There's a lot of things that, as an engineer who's worked on this now for probably a decade or more, things that were just sort of topics that really didn't get to the forefront, didn't get the type of attention that we see now. The differences between aerial inspection versus IV curves, the importance of data and not just pulling it, but how do you analyze it, how do you aggregate it, how do you make actionable recommendations from the data. I would say are key trends that I started last year and I've heard years before, but continued and really were at the forefront of this year's show.
I mean, we're about accelerating solar adoption, and it's interesting to see how many of our compatriots here in solar are also about the same. So, and that means working together to really move the needle and get a more widespread adoption of solar throughout the world.
First of all, the energy at the show this year has been incredible. There's been a lot of new faces, a lot of new people. The interesting thing is everybody's been talking about repowering. A lot of interest in what's going to happen as these fleets get to a certain age and past their warranties, past the ITCs, how to really bring new revenue in and how to improve on underperforming assets.
Over the last year, we've seen higher quality, more sophistication in the clients, the financing, a real flight to quality in components and providers, and a higher focus on yield and yield generation. And so that's been Nextracker's focus as well as a trend for the industry, and we are really excited because this is helping the industry get more competitive and mainstream our collective mission to make solar the #1 source of energy generation in the world.
What I really like is that it's a good blend of technical and financial. We have asset management, we have equity partners, we have people who deliver the technical solutions all in one place, and they talk to each other. So everybody kind of gets the other side's perspective and kind of merges, some of the major hurdles that we have after projects are built.
Evolution of the market away from just busbar PPAs towards hedges and more merchant exposure in markets like ERCOT. All of a sudden you have a lot of solar projects in ERCOT. I would say that evolution towards sort of less contracted, sold at the project node is a big thing that we're seeing in the market.
Well, this show has evolved over many years, and every year it gets better in my opinion, primarily for the networking, the opportunities to connect with the right people, and just the exposure to be able to meet with so many different organizations, people from all over the globe in one location over a single week.
I've been very happy to have been part of these Solar Plaza events for a few years. In fact, not just in US, but also in Europe. And specifically with this conference, a couple of major takeaways which for me are very exciting. Continued growth in the sector and continued focus on asset management, both in terms of the broader recognition of the importance of asset management, both in terms of platform, in terms of software, in terms of solution delivery, and also the fact that especially as we move forward, better managing the assets and maximizing the return on invested capital is very, very critical for long-term success of the business.
Speaking for SMA, for me personally, today was the closeness of end users, suppliers, EPCs, manufacturers, the whole mix you create here with Solar Plaza Asset Management. That's a value you normally get by having 5 times the effort to meet all these people. Here we meet everybody on the same place, specific market for North America, that we would not get on another show like this. We have the Intersolar, we have the SPI, but it's not this mix of the auditorium that creates this atmosphere. And it's quite positive. The feedback I've received today from different suppliers, from different customers, they all like to be here. So this is a really great event.
I think that the solar market is in transformation in the way that the wind is already there, so increasing curtailments, the potential to integrate with storage, the potential for grid services, all of these different changes to the revenue side of solar during the operations phase is something that we've definitely experienced in wind. A tighter alignment or integration between the O&M group and the group that manages the revenue side of it, and making sure that we're doing the most that we can to maximize profit during operations is something that I think wind is getting really good at, and that's also coming, and we know it's coming with solar as well.